Well, the day has finally come. Today we're going to take my Ioniq 6 out and see how many miles past 0% state of charge, 0 estimated miles remaining, we can actually go. Now you might remember a couple years ago I did this with my Ioniq 5 and it yielded about 10 miles of estimated range past 0. So in today's video we will find out what that number is and it will hopefully give you a little bit of peace of mind when on a road trip. Now bear in mind that this is my Ioniq 6 SE rear wheel drive, so this is going to be best case scenario for an Ioniq 6 because it's the most efficient and the other trims just get progressively less efficient. All right, so we are out on the road, currently showing 1 mile of estimated range with 0%. The power limited warning is going to keep coming up at this point. I can see on the OBD2 scanner that it is saying 5% state of charge on the battery management system, so that is good to see. And it also shows me that we currently have 123 kilowatts of maximum output from the rear motor. So once this hits 0 miles on this gauge here, I will reset the trip computer and we'll start counting miles. All right, so we just hit 0 miles of estimated range and I am resetting the trip computer now. I've got the AC on in the car right now. It's going to cut power eventually, so it is going to get pretty warm in here. You might see me starting to sweat. But right now it's an auto level 1 at 75. All the tires are inflated to the proper pressures. I am in iPedal mode. I am also in eco mode. So the throttle is going to be in its most dulled state as opposed to being in sport mode where it's pretty sensitive. Now it can be a little difficult to run this test in my neck of the woods because it is fairly hilly. So there's a lot of regen taking place whenever I'm driving around here. So at these lower speeds, I'm usually seeing over 5 miles per kilowatt hour in this car. So this could be a decently long test. So we just did our first mile. State of charge on the BMS is showing 4.5 and max power is 114 kilowatts. So as we progress through this test, I will keep you guys updated about how the accelerator pedal is feeling. That is going to be directly correlated to the maximum output that the motor can do at any given point. We're coming up on mile number 2 here, showing 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. As we start getting lower in battery management system state of charge, I'm going to get closer to home. This way, if I do run out of juice, I don't have to go very far. I really don't feel like pushing this thing home today or asking a stranger to help me charge. Oh geez, this is not good. I don't know if I'm going to make it home. I think I'm completely dead. Max power output is dropping a little bit. We're down to less than 110 kilowatts. So we just passed 4 miles, averaging 5.4 miles per kilowatt hour. State of charge on the BMS, 4%, and our max power has dropped below 100 kilowatts. Throttle still feels plenty responsive. AC is also still blowing cold, which is very nice considering the outside temperature right now. And we're doing about 50 miles an hour. We're still able to regen quite a bit. We were just putting 75 kilowatts back in the battery. Just hit 6 miles, 3.5% on the BMS. And 82 kilowatts maximum power. So we just hit 7 miles, still showing 3% state of charge. Max power is at 86 kilowatts, and if I floor it, it's definitely a little duller to react. Okay, I just felt now the air conditioning just more or less stop blowing cold air. So it definitely is prioritizing your powertrain over keeping you cool, which I think is a good thing. I'd rather get to my destination a little warm than dying on the side of the road. So we just passed 8 miles. SOC on the BMS, 2.5%. Maximum power output, 76.45 kilowatts. All right, so we just hit 9 miles, still 2.5% state of charge on the BMS. Max power output is down to 71 kilowatts. We've averaged 5.1 miles per kilowatt hour over the last 17 minutes. And the accelerator is still plenty responsive. I don't feel like I'm gonna be run over by somebody if I can't get out of their way. All right, 10 miles. We're still at 2.5% on the BMS. Max power is now down to 66 kilowatts. Whew, man, it is getting warm in this cabin now. Okay, here comes 12 miles. 1.5% on the BMS, max power output 58 kilowatts. Okay, so we just hit 1% state of charge on the battery management system. But now's a good time to tell you guys about some of my accessories for the Ioniq 6 that you might be interested in purchasing. I've got my sunglass holders that simply click right onto the center console here. You can store your sunglasses there because there is no overhead storage bin. And I also have cup holder enlargers for the front cup holders as well as rear cup holders if you do like to carry those larger 40-ounce water bottles in your car. Because as you probably already know, they do not fit in the standard cup holders. You can check those all out at ioniqguy.com. Every purchase goes to supporting me and my channel and is the best way to support the Ioniq Guy. All right, we just hit 14 miles, 1% state of charge on the BMS, and 50 kilowatts is our maximum current output allowed. Been driving for almost a half an hour now, and I'm gonna get a little bit closer to the house now because we might be ending this pretty soon. So that's dead floored right there. All right, we're down to 0.5 state of charge on the BMS. We've gone 14.5 miles. Max power is still pretty good. Should I push my luck, guys? Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna push my luck. 14.8 miles. Let's see if just driving around the backyard here, we can get it down a little bit further. So I guess we'll keep doing circles here at about 10 miles per hour until we completely die. I want to see that point when the vehicle actually stops moving. This would be really a great time to know somebody with a private track or airstrip or something. Man, the state of charge is still sitting at 0.5%. Maybe we go up on the upper part of my yard for the first time. All right. We're at 0% state of charge on the BMS, and our maximum available power is 44 kilowatts. Let's do a little acceleration run. That's punched. Still got a decent amount. I'm gonna bring it back down to the lower part of the yard so I can more easily plug it in. It's currently only outputting 5.2 kilowatts to that motor, so I think we're pretty much dead. Whew, man. This car will just not quit. You're definitely not going to do more than about 20 miles per hour tops when you're down at this level. Okay, we're dead. I can no longer shift it into drive or reverse, so that is going to be it. We are completely toast. So in the end, how many miles past zero did we make it? Well, according to the trip computer, 16.3 miles. That took us about 39 minutes, and we averaged 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour. And if you do the calculations there, our average speed was about 25 miles per hour. So although that speed is relatively low, I think it's pretty representative of what would happen in this situation where you're on a road trip, you're running out of juice quick, you got to find a charger, you get off the highway, and then you're driving around on side streets. So I think 25 miles per hour is fair, and 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour in the Ioniq 6 is pretty average. I know it can definitely do better than that, so it's definitely not the best efficiency I've ever seen in the car, but it's enough to get you 16.4 miles. Now, unfortunately, we don't know how many kilowatt hours we actually used, but if you do the math there, take 16.3, divide it by 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour, the capacity that we used would be about 3.4 kilowatt hours. And that sounds about right. We've known for a long time that the Ioniq 5 has a battery buffer of about 3 to 4 kilowatt hours at the low end and about 3 to 4 kilowatt hours at the high end. Now, just because you can do this doesn't necessarily mean I think you should. You don't want to start eating down into the single digits of the battery pack if you don't have to. In the long run, it's not going to be the best thing for it. But if you don't have any other option, you got to do what you got to do. All you really have to do to figure out how far you could go past zero would be take your average efficiency and multiply it by 3.4 kilowatt hours of energy. So if you're only getting 3 miles per kilowatt hour, which I don't think is probably likely with the Ioniq 6, you would get about 10 miles of range past zero. So the point of this video is just to show you guys that don't worry about approaching zero. There's a buffer on the bottom. You can go a bit further. So don't stress out too much on a road trip when you start to get towards zero. but obviously you should be looking for a charger at about 10% or sooner. So let me know down in the comment section if you guys pushed your cars past 0% yet. I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable doing that, but I personally am definitely game for it. If you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Check out my store, like I mentioned earlier, ioniqguy.com, for accessories for your Ioniq 6. You could also consider becoming a channel member for as little as $3 per month. You'll gain early access to videos just like this before everybody else. And you'll also get a discount code to use on my accessories as well. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.